astrology forecast. We're just going to jump right into it. On the 5th, Mercury is going to enter your 10th house and it's going to conjoin Pluto right off the bat. So Mercury is the planet of communication. It's speaking, talking, writing, using your voice, all forms of communication. This is texting, emailing, talking to your friend on the phone, even just the thoughts that you're having, where your headspace is at. And having it conjoin Pluto in your 10th house is really going to be focused on your career sector. So this is your career, your public image, your reputation, your accomplishments, the way that the people perceive you on a public level. And having it conjoin Pluto is going to add a sense of intensity or profound change or transformation to the way that you're thinking or communicating. So there might be some really big changes when it comes to something like getting a promotion or having to speak to your boss and have a conversation with them, or having to make like a public statement that you have to release. Of course, it's going to show up very differently for everybody based off of their personal chart, but having this sort of intensity is really going to bring a sense of really magnetizing and zooming in on your thoughts, your ideas, and how you're communicating, what you're talking about, who you're talking about it with, who you're talking to about it, with an emphasis on change or letting go of something. So you might be making a change, you might be sort of switching your position in the workplace. There could be a conversation around like, I want to totally switch industries and just do something entirely different. I really want to let go of this. Or maybe just a general sense of change in your reputation and in your public status. So this could be anything from like, people taking you more seriously, or you asserting yourself as an authority figure, as a leader of some sort. There could be very powerful conversations on that day. On the 7th, Venus is in your 9th house and it's going to square the nodes that are in your 12th and your 6th house currently. So Venus is the planet of love, money, beauty, pleasure, relationships, really anything that has to do with how we work with others with a shared goal, whether that's like a business partnership or a romantic relationship. It's also art, it's aesthetics, it's things of value. So having that kind of come in between the bending of the nodes are very faded. It kind of shows us what we're supposed to be prioritizing and what we're supposed to be letting go of, to very, simplify it into one little phrase. So to have Venus kind of coming in the mix and getting that main spotlight, that point of attention between both of the nodes, is saying that there's probably going to be some sense of a faded change or a meant to be sort of circumstance coming about. With it going through your 9th house, it can have something to do with your faith, your belief systems, your education, your perspectives, even traveling opportunities, or something in regards to getting outside of your comfort zone and expanding beyond your typical parameters and boundaries in life. So this could be anything from, taking a trip abroad and this being something that really expands your mindset. It could be connecting with faith in some way and like finding religion or finding your sense of belief sort of changing. It can be that maybe you fall in love when you go on like a work trip or something like that. But because the nodes are in your 6th and your 12th house, it's probably going to emphasize more so something in regards to your physical health and your mental health, or your belief systems, your habits, your lifestyles, your routines, and those things sort of coming to the forefront of focus because something in your perspective has expanded, has changed, has evolved in some way. On the 8th, the sun is going to square Uranus for everybody across the board. So currently the sun is in your 10th house again of your career sector, your public image, your reputation, and Uranus is in your 1st house of self and identity, who you are and what you look like. So this is typically always going to be a day when we have Sun-Uranus aspects where there can be a sense of change or flukes of nature or things that unexpectedly or unpredictably happening in a way that we did not quite expect. This doesn't have to be inherently bad. It can just be like trying something a new way, trying a new flavor of something that you typically don't get. It can be very mundane, but in other ways it can be switching up your entire look, or again doing a pivotal career shift where now people are looking at you very differently. For you, I think it's going to be a little bit more intense because you are the change with Uranus happening in your 1st house. Like, you are the main character right now in regards to really going through a lot of transformative things and kind of changing and altering yourself over the last few years. So to have that in a square to the sun on this particular day in regards to, again, your public image, your reputation, your career, I think it's something that other people will see about you. This could be something you post. You might even just be like changing your hair, or like, again, changing your status in some way. On the 13th, Mars is going to enter your 10th house. So everything's going to be heading through your 10th house throughout this month. That means that everything is going to have to pass over Pluto as it gets into Aquarius. I keep saying Pluto is literally like the bouncer, the gatekeeper to Aquarius this month as everything passes through it. So with it being in your 10th house of your career sector, again, your public image, your reputation, we're going to be seeing those things a lot because your 10th house is really lit up this month. Your accomplishments are also going to be on the forefront, and having Mars head into this area of your chart. Mars going through the 10th house is usually going to bring a sense of aggression, change, change, being assertive, being very direct in your pursuit of the things that you want when it comes to like hustling and proving yourself in the public eye. So again, this can be anything from like defending yourself. For some people, it's going to show up maybe a little bit more aggressively, like having to stand your ground, having to fight for your reputation. For other people, it can look like you making a lot of changes in your career very quickly. Very next day, it's going to conjoin Pluto. So again, it's going to have that layer of intensity of sort of this feeling of change, liberation, profound transformation, letting go, the truth, putting a spotlight on maybe the more taboo things that are very raw but very real. I think you're sort of breaking past some limitations, or like making room for yourself, taking up more space when it comes to the public eye or your career or the things that you can prove of yourself to be, again, taken seriously. On the 16th, Venus is going to enter your 10th house. So if it's been a little bit cold here the last few days in regards to being in the middle of the month now, especially around Valentine's Day, Venus is going to warm it up. It's going to bring a sense of ease and harmony and pleasure and things going a little bit smoother. So if there's any sense of aggression to the point of like abrasiveness to any degree, Venus is going to sort of soothe the wound and slap a band-aid on it and kind of bring solutions and ease and things getting a little bit smoother. Venus going through the 10th house is great. It typically brings good attention, good PR basically for yourself. It can bring more success when it comes to the career and the public image. It can look like you getting more attention for like your looks or your aesthetics. It's generally a beneficial transit to have, so enjoy it. On the 17th, Mercury is going to square Saturn and Venus is going to be conjoined Pluto for everybody across the board. So this is a little bit of an uncomfortable aspect because we're already adding an intensity with love, relationships, finances, money, beauty, pleasure. So there's that tightness and intensity of Pluto, but having that Mercury square Saturn aspect is also kind of making us have to zip our lips or shut our mouths or slap ourselves on the wrist when it comes to maybe wanting to do the things that feel good, wanting to do the things that make us comfortable, but knowing that we have to be responsible. We have to stick to our boundaries. We have to abide to our responsibilities, even though it's maybe not what we want, it's what we have to do. There's a sense of discipline, of responsibility, of like having to be a grown-up on this day, despite the intensity of like maybe being powerless to the things that really feel good or that we really want. On the 19th, the sun is going to enter your 11th house. So the sun is going to bring a sense of illumination, attention, a spotlight to the people that you surround yourself with, your friends, your groups, your associates, your social media presence, the way that you kind of find your larger sense of belonging in the world, as well as your very big dreams and manifestations. So you might just find that you're focused on more of these things, or that this area of your life is starting to take up a little bit more room at the end of the month. Mercury is going to join the sun just a few days later on the 23rd. So while the sun is bringing the attention, the illumination to this area of the chart, Mercury is going to bring your intellect, your cerebral energy, your ideas, your conversations, who you're talking with and what you're talking about and what is important to you in regards to what you're thinking right now to that area as well. So again, groups, communities, associates, this is anything from like joining a Facebook club for goals that, you know, people that share similar goals as you, to becoming a part of a new club or like a religious group or something like that, or even just vision boarding the very big things that you want in life and the people around you that support you in those dreams. So having the sun here and Mercury here is going to not only bring that attention to it, but also talking about it with people, posting about it, sharing these ideas as well. On the 24th, there's going to be a full moon in your 5th house. So full moons are usually going to be endings, full circle moments, a tying up of loose ends, closures. It doesn't have to be bad. This is always going to be something that's a callback to 6 months ago. So if we think of a full moon in Virgo, I want you to think back to maybe the very end of August and the first half of September of 2023. This is going to kind of maybe bring things that are relevant from then back up. It doesn't have to be them being directly resurfaced, but rather like you might have been making changes or having a new beginning back then in regards to your 5th house, which is love, sex, romance, creativity, entertainment, doing things that are fun, doing things that are pleasurable and feel good to you. So anything from like dating somebody new to starting a new passion project to even becoming pregnant or having kids or wanting to like conceive. So having that full moon moment here can be the sort of full circle moment, or seeing that come to fruition and materialize in your physical world. On the 25th, Venus is going to square Jupiter. So anytime Venus squares Jupiter, really anytime Venus and Jupiter come together in the sky in any aspect, even if it's harsh, it's usually going to be a good day because we're taking both benefics that are both planets that want to give us good things, give us opportunities, give us growth, give us this sort of sparkly fairy dust to feel good. And both of those things are going to be happening at the same time, basically. So this is taking the planet of love, beauty, pleasure, money, finances, aesthetics, things that feel, again, very joyful, very warm and fuzzy. And then Jupiter being expansion and growth and opportunities and perspective. So in some ways, it can be a little bit more esoteric and spiritual. For some people, this can be like expanding your mind, again, becoming more faithful, kind of becoming more creative or tapped into your intuition. fortune. And in other ways, it can be like a good day to just play with your luck and to like get a scratch off, or to plan a date, or to change something with like your hair or your look and just have fun with it. It's typically going to be a day of good luck, good fortune, all the feel good energy. At the very worst, this is just like functioning in excess, over consuming, maybe being very boastful. It's like, you know, you get the sugar craving and you eat the whole cake when like you really are going to be okay with just one piece. Overspending, retail therapy, just taking it up a notch too far basically. On the 28th, Mercury is now going to conjoin Saturn. So on the 17th, Mercury squared Saturn. That's where we had that little bit of a slap on the wrist sort of feeling, whether it was like, I want to do this but I can't do this, or I want to express this but I can't, or maybe I have to be a little bit more responsible and disciplined and stoic in perceiving this thing, rather than being this dreamy, creative sort of instant gratification way that I want to approach the situation. So that was happening in the middle of the month, and now by the end of the month it's likely to resurface or become a little bit more intense, or just like really double down on those similar themes, because the square is the uncomfortable aspect of like, I feel like I need to make a decision, or there's some sort of friction between these two things, whereas a conjunction is really going to be those two things on top of each other in a way that's like unavoidable now. And again, these things are happening in your 11th house of groups, communities, associates, your bigger dreams, your manifestations, and your bigger sense of belonging in the world. And that's pretty much your month of February, Taurus. I hope that this helped you. I hope that it gave you a sense of clarity. I'd love to hear what you guys are going through in your personal lives. I love seeing you guys say like, oh, I'm moving, or I got a promotion, or any sort of those big life changes, because if you're looking at your rising sign, you guys are going to be going through similar things. But if you want to see how this is going to affect you more personally and more specifically to your chart, you can book a personal reading at kmoney.biz. Everything that you need is going to be in the description below. I have tarot readings, astrology readings, I have ebooks to teach yourself these things as well. If you want to keep up with me on any other socials, those will be linked as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you soon, and also have an amazing Valentine's Day. Love you guys.